So what is the best way to learn guitar? The right way. In this video, I'm going to show you how to play guitar and how to get it right from the start. Third lesson, covering the basics. Coming up. Hey, what's up people? It's Ashzee from Ashzee Guitar. On this channel I do tutorials for players at all levels, so if you're new here and you like the content, please consider subscribing. Subscribe! Okay, now for lesson 3, no more recap. I urge you to revise lessons 1 and 2 for this. You see, passively staring at the screen isn't going to help. Let me spell it out for you. Without a guitar in your hands, you achieve nothing by watching this. Okay, enough of the lecture. We need to learn just a few more notes for music reading. These are on the 3rd string, G and A. The first, G, is an important note in music reading. You will see why in a moment. A smattering of music theory. Music, also called staff notation, is written on a staff or stave of 5 lines, between which there are 4 spaces. The vertical position of a note on a line, the line passing through it, or in a space between 2 lines, indicates its pitch, that is to say, how low or how high it sounds. We use the first 7 letters of the alphabet A to G to name the sounds in ascending order. These are repeated to represent the same notes at a higher or lower level. For guitar music, this sign is always used. Practice drawing this sign. It is known as the G or treble clef. Can you see that the sign fixes the second line from the bottom as G? So the note on this line is G. Once you know where G is, you can work out the names of the other notes. To identify notes quickly, they can be divided into 2 groups, those on the lines and those in the spaces. So 2 things to notice. The 5 lines of the staff are not guitar strings. Many of my students see the note on the 3rd line and think it represents the 3rd string of the guitar. Not so. The note on this 3rd line is B, which we have already learned, the open 2nd string. Don't confuse music reading with tab. Coming up next. If you want to use a mnemonic to remember this, there was a long-playing vinyl record, remember those, by the Moody Blues from 1971 called Every Good Boy Deserves Favor. Why not just learn them? Say it over and over. E, G, B, D, F. Notes in the spaces F-A-C-E spell out the word face, which rhymes with space. Enough theory for now. Okay, here are some melodies on the first 3 strings. Your 2nd scale looks like this. Practice this scale over and over, saying the letter names as you play the note. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. One, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, enough note reading for one day. Down in the Valley is probably one of the oldest songs you will learn. What a great song. It has been around since the 1920s. The version we will learn was recorded by Burl Ives in 1949. Guitar tablature. Guitar tablature, or tab for short, is a simple way to write down which notes to play on the guitar. It shows both the string and the fret. Take a moment to look at this. So, the horizontal lines represent guitar strings, from thick E string to thin E string. The numbers indicate which fret and string to play, reading from left to right. Vertical lines indicate bars or measures. Now, try play the above three notes in order from left to right. Play the first note open, then play the second fret and finally the fourth fret using these fingers. Why is it so important to use the correct fingers? Because I say so. The thing is, you can probably manage to play the above with any fingers, even the same finger. But the further you get in guitar, the more you will realize just how important correct fingering is. So now play the final G note by sliding your third finger up one fret. Here you absolutely must use the correct finger, the third finger. Why? Because I say so. Seriously though, after playing this note, you have to keep this third finger on and play the rest of your new G chord. Your new G chord looks like this. Finally, pick or strum down strings 2 and 3 twice. In tab it looks like this. You can do this either with fingers, right hand thumb P for the 4 bass notes, and pick strings 2 and 3 simultaneously with M and I fingers, or with plectrum using all down strokes. Try both ways. The intro looks like this. 1, 2, 3. For that second chord, G over D, simply lift off your third left-hand finger and pick the string open. 1, 2, 3. So now play the accompaniment for Down in the Valley like 1, this. 2, 3. Try picking out the melody, either using down strokes with your pick or alternating I and M fingers. If you want, you can add the intro riff you learned first. So now replace the first measure with the intro riff. Here is the accompaniment again. Note the repeat sign at the end. Simply start again from 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Isn't it amazing? With every new song you learn, even an old song, you learn a bunch of new stuff. Besides learning to read tab, you have encountered slash chords for the first time. G over D and D5 over A. Slash chords. The first time you see a slash chord, you probably say, huh? What it means is it is just a guitar chord with bass note other than the root. Take G/D for example. Sometimes read as G over D or simply G/D. It is the chord of G major with D as the bass note. The D is the lowest note of the chord. So a slash chord comprises two letters separated by a forward slash. The letter you see to the left of the slash is the name of the chord. The letter to the right of the slash is the bass note, or lowest sounding note of the chord. The most important thing to remember about slash chords is that you do not have to play the slash if you are unfamiliar with its shape. Often the guitarist in the band will play the straight chord, in this case G, and leave the bass player to play the D note. The notes of G major chord are G, B, and D. So now it is necessary to arrange the notes so that D is the lowest note, and presto, you have G/D. Yet the further you get, the more you appreciate just how good slash chords can sound. Slash chords add new and vibrant color to your songs and the sound of your instrument. There are certain popular forms of slash chords that you will see more often than others. D/F sharp, C/G, A/E, and so on. Others are difficult to play, such as E over G sharp, yet what a glorious sound. The slash chord D5 over A is indicating the chord of D5, sometimes referred to as a power chord, with the A note in the bass. The chord of D5 comprises only the first and fifth notes of the chord, D and A. Another thing you may have noticed is that down in the valley is in 3/4 time. A new time signature, 3/4 time. Until now, you have had 4 counts to a measure, written as, this is called the time signature. Now, down in the valley has 3 counts to a bar, written as. So not all songs are in 4 time. This 3/4 time is typical of a waltz, that boom chick chick rhythm. You can play it like so. 1, 2, 3. Some fundamentals. Think of these as golden rules. The first is, always place the left hand finger directly behind the fret. I can't emphasize this enough. It was Andy Warhol, the renowned pop artist of the 1960s, who said, in the future everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes. Now imagine that it's your turn, but you only get 5 seconds, perhaps on the stage of Carnegie Hall with billions of people watching on TV. Now all you have to do is play the note of G on the 4th string. I bet you will make jolly sure that your left hand finger is directly behind the fret. If you don't, it could well end up sounding like this. So why not use this golden rule for every single note or chord you play on guitar? My second golden rule is, place the left hand finger you need first. For the new G chord we learned, it is this finger. You don't need these fingers here before you play the G note. No, what you need to play first is. So it makes sense to place this finger first. A little more theory. You may have noticed that this song, Down in the Valley, uses only 2 chords. These are important and are known as the tonic and dominant chords. The tonic is sometimes called the keynote, that is, the scale on which the music is based. So, Down in the Valley starts on a G chord and ends on a G chord. Down in the Valley is therefore in the key of G major. The dominant chord is that built on the 5th note of the scale. In G major, the 5th note is D. So now if you pile the third and fifth notes of G on top of this, you end up with... Remember that first scale we learned earlier. Now, one of these notes sounds wrong to Western ears, the seventh note, F. Your instinct is probably telling you that it should sound 1 fret higher. The correct note for the scale of G major is F sharp. The sharp sign. The sharp sign written in front of a note makes it 1 fret higher, 1 semitone higher. Introducing F sharp. Second finger behind second fret. The key signature. So the scale of G major has a key signature of F sharp. This hashtag sign written at the beginning of each staff is called the key signature. It means that all F notes are played sharp. Always look for the key signature when playing a piece of music. So now the scale of G major is written like this. 3, 4. So now if you again pile the third and fifth notes of G on top of this, you end up with... Now you can see that the third note above the root D is F sharp, no longer F. As a simple rule of thumb, you can count on your fingers. In the key of C or C major, the fifth note is G. C, D, E, F, G. So the tonic and dominant chords in C major are C and G. In the key of G, the tonic and dominant chords are G and D. In the key of D, the tonic and dominant chords are D and A. In the key of A, the tonic and dominant chords are A and E. In the key of E, the tonic and dominant chords are E and B. Well, it works up to a point, but when you get to the key of B, you need to know that the fifth note is F sharp. Same with flat keys. In the key of F, the fifth note below is B flat. But we are getting there. So now see if you can play down in the value in the key of C. Don't worry about the slash chords, just use C and G chords. If you put your capo on the 7th fret, it will sound the same as the original version. Magic. 1, 2, 3. Similarly, use chords of D and A. With the capo on the 5th fret, it will again sound the same as the original. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.